Alright, good morning everybody, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Whatever time you're tuning into this video, just make sure that it is good. My name is Game Boy Rob, and today I figured I would go over all the cards that I haven't been going over for the last few days. For the last few days, Riot has been releasing cards that in small doses. Riot has been releasing like 2, 3, sometimes 1 card per day, and I just felt like each day my analysis and thoughts on those cards weren't really enough to make a video out of, I guess. So I'm gonna just do them all at once right now. So that's what we're doing today. I'm gonna look at all the cards that were revealed since last time I did a video, which I believe puts us at since Viego came out. Should be everything down here. All right, so let us start. Let us start with the new Noxus cards that got revealed. Noxus got 2 new cards added to the Noxian region, and they've got Ruined Reckoner and Retired Reckoner. I guess these two are not the same guy. I guess they're not the same dude, right? They must be different Reckoners, and I think that means they are both not the Minotaur Reckoner. That's already a card, right? And I don't think either of these are that guy. I don't think. But really, that's neither here nor there, right? We're here to talk about what they do, right? So Ruined Reckoner is a 4-mana 4/3 that says when I'm summoned, create a Midnight Raid in hand. Midnight Raid is this, a 0-mana slow speed fleeting spell that says an ally starts a free attack. This guy looks pretty good. Ruined Reckoner is the type of card that sort of enables a lot of interesting strategies, or at least supports a lot of interesting strategies. I can't quite see what deck he'll end up being in. There's a lot of places he could end up going. We might see him in Riven decks. We might see him in weirdo Noxus, not aggro, but like aggro mid-range, like OTK Draven style decks where you make one unit really, really big. If you make that unit start a free attack, you know, that could make sense. Maybe he'll be in like Ezreal strategies. Maybe Draven Ezreal will slot in this card so that Ezreal gets a free attack on defensive turns. I'm not sure where he's going to go exactly. Maybe he'll be a Darius card. Maybe Darius mid-range decks will slot this guy in and have a 10 attack Darius that gets a free attack is nothing to sneeze at, right? So like maybe it'll be something like that. I imagine this card will see a lot of experimentation and will eventually find a pretty decent home somewhere, but I have no idea where that home's gonna be. But that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on Ruined Reckoner. I feel like this card is pretty good. He's basically chump wump stats, 4-mana 4/3, which is not terrible. Nothing amazing, but nothing awful either. Not like you don't feel too bad getting a 4-mana 4/3. You don't feel awesome doing that, but you don't feel like you're throwing away too much tempo. And the Midnight Raid card is obviously going to enable a lot of interesting strategies and ideas. So pretty cool card. And then on the other side of that coin, we have got the Retired Reckoner, which is a 5-mana 2/6 with Overwhelm. And it says when you target me, grant me +1/+0. This guy is much more questionable. I'm not sure quite where this guy could end up. I mean, obviously he's sort of there for the Akshan style package, right? He's a great place for you to put your buffs, for you to put your buff cards, your cards that are targeting your units. He is a good target for those spells and units. I'm just not sure he's good enough, and I'm not sure he fits the style that deck is going for. I'm not having not played with Akshan, and Akshan being a very complicated champion, it's hard to see exactly what that deck's win condition is going to be. In Akshan decks, whether the win condition is actually going to be getting the Warlord's Horde and getting the big powerful spell, whether that's actually going to win you games, or if you actually do have to win with like your units, if you actually do have to develop a board, maybe with some Overwhelm units. If it actually is like an Overwhelm style strategy, then maybe Retired Reckoner will fit that strategy. But if it's more of like a control-y mid-range deck where you have to like sit back and wait for the Warlord's Horde to go off, and then at the end you like do a bunch of combos and then like swing for lethal at the end, Retired Reckoner might not fit that play, but he might fit that play style as well. But he is going to be competing with a bunch of other things in the Akshan deck, and I don't think most other decks are going to want this guy. I don't see very many decks outside of Akshan wanting Retired Reckoner. Maybe some sort of weird Taric Noxus deck, but honestly, Retired Reckoner seems like he's probably not going to find that much of a home. So, moving on, we've got one Piltover card. A 4-mana 4/3 defective swap bot, which says, play skill, swap my stats with the stats of another unit. This card is cool. Alright, I'm going to preface this by saying this card is cool, and that you can see the skill is right here, right? Swap bot swap. Swap my attack and health with that of another unit. This card is cool, but because it's a 4/3, I don't quite see the point. Like, a card like this, if this was a 4-mana 3/4, heck, maybe a 4-mana like 2/5, 3/5, something like that, I could see it being useful. I could see it being cool. But at 4/3, I don't quite see what it is you want to give 4/3. I don't see what it is we're trying to give 4/3 stats to. Like maybe a small elusive unit like Zoe? Like, I could see giving Zoe 4/3 stats as opposed to her normal stats, but I would prefer more health, right? I'm not slotting in a card just to give Zoe 3 health and have her die to a get excited anyway, right? That's not really good enough. If this was a 3/4 instead of a 4/3, then I could say maybe this would be a good card in like Zoe Piltover decks. But at 4/3, I just don't see it. I just don't see this being useful. I don't see why we would want to do that. This looks like an expedition card and nothing else, which is a shame because its art is awesome. I love the fact that he's wearing 2 bow ties for no reason. I like the ruination literally coming out of his chest. He looks awesome, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it for that guy. I don't see it for the swap bot. And then we've got a Targon card. We've got Frightened, I believe it's Ibex. Frightened Ibex, which is a 1-mana 1/2 that says, when I'm supported, give me and my supporting ally +1/+1 this round. Wow. That is a much stronger card. That is a much stronger card. So essentially, on round 2, if you play a support unit, this is a 2/3. This is a 1-mana 2/3. If it's getting supported, that also gives what it's supported, or what's supporting it, +1/+1. And it gets whatever supported, whatever the support effect is. Like, I guess a good example is a War Chefs. If you play Frightened Ibex on 1 and then play War Chefs on 2 and attack, your War Chefs is a 3/3 and this is a 3/4 on round 2. That's a lot. A 3/3 and a 3/4 attacking you on round 2 is not something you can reasonably block, right? That's not something that you can favorably block ever on round 2. I guess you could maybe kill the War Chefs, right, with your own 3/2, depending on what you did, right? What you're playing. But a lot of decks that don't have 3/2s, there are a lot of decks that don't have 3/2s right now, by the way. If you're running some deck that doesn't run 3/2s, you're gonna have a hard time blocking that. And then this is only gonna get more value later when it's being supported by other things. Like, obviously the War Chefs are in Demacia, but if you're playing some other deck, maybe an Ionia, maybe a Lulu Taric style deck, if you're running a Frightened Ibex and then on round 2 you play Young Witch. Young Witch is a 2/3 with elusive, and this is going to be a 3/3 with quick attack on round 2? Hello? Like, that's really strong. That's really strong. So I think this card is actually really, really strong. Taric is coming back into the meta. Taric is finally seeing some play because he's finally strong enough. He's been buffed enough times that he's actually a good card now. And this is a Taric card. This is a card that would love to be in some Taric decks. I'd love to see what people come up with this. I think this is a very strong card, and it just will support the support archetype, and I'm down for it. I'm here for it. All right, and then we've got 2 Shadow Isles cards here. The first one is Invasive Hydrovine, which is a 7 mana, 7/6 with Fearsome. It says, when I'm summoned or round start, summon an Encroaching Mist. Wow, I actually forgot that this guy said round start. I thought when I was looking at this card a minute ago, I thought it just said when I'm summoned, summon an Encroaching Mist. This actually summons an Encroaching Mist every round. Huh. Okay. Well, that does make it better in my eyes. I didn't think this card was very good, and I still don't think it's great. But that makes it much better. The fact that this summons an Encroaching Mist every round. Huh. For those of you who don't remember, Encroaching Mist is this right here. An Encroaching Mist is this thing. Each one that gets summoned is one bigger than the last one, right? They start at 1/1, and then every time you summon one, there'll be 1+1/+1 from the last one. And they also all give Viego +1/+1. And it's not just the Viego you have on board, it's Viegos everywhere, right? So if you get out a bunch of Encroaching Mists and then play a Viego later, he will be gigantic, right? Now, I'm still not sure what type of deck we're gonna see Viego in. If he does get stuck in some big, like, mid-rangey control style deck, then maybe Invasive Hydrovine can see some play. If you really, really want to get all the way up to 7 mana and then not try to win the game yet. If you really are trying to get, like, last all the way to round 7, but at round 7 you're still not where you want to be to try to, like, end the game, then maybe this could see some play in Viego decks. It's a 7 mana unit, and 7 mana is so expensive. 7 is so pricey. It's so hard to justify ever putting a 7 mana unit in your deck. Like, there are very few 7 mana units running around right now, right? Everything's like, like there's a couple 6 mana units, and then like a bunch of 8s, right? Well, Lysandra makes us go for 8 mana units, and then there's Swain decks need the Leviathan, right? The Leviathan is an 8 mana unit that you will regularly play, but Leviathan also ends the game, which is why we play it. And Invasive Hydrovine, it doesn't end the game. It stalls the game more than anything else. Honestly, this is better than I thought it was. I was fully prepared to come in here and say that this is the worst card or like one of the worst cards and you should never play this. But since it summons it every round, it might not be atrocious. It might not be awful. We'll have to test it. I think it's fair to say that 7 mana units generally are not very good. And this has a long way to go. But it might be able to go that long way. I think Invasive Hydrovine could maybe see some play. We'll have to experiment with it, but if it's really bad, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm not willing to write it off as terrible yet. I'm leaning towards bad, but I'm not willing to write it off entirely yet. We need to give it a shot. We need to give Invasive Hydrovine a shot, I think. Because it might not be awful. I actually think this card might not be awful. The more I look at it, the better it seems. Okay, alright. I see you, Hydrovine. I see you, Hydrovine. Cool. And then we've got Withering Mist, which is a 5 mana slow speed Shadow Isles card that says drain 2 from 2 enemies. The first time when I first saw this card, I thought it was fast. I thought there was a fast speed spell, and I was like, oh, that's all right. That's pretty good. It's kind of like a Grasp of the Undying, except, you know, instead of dealing 3 to 1 unit, it deals 2 to 2 units. It's kind of like Withering Wail, except instead of dealing 1 to everything, and healing 3, it deals 2 to 2 things and then heals 4. That's, you know, that's comparable. Maybe Shadow Isles has to choose again, but you know, between their 5 mana removal slot. No, those cards are fast. Turns out Grasp of the Undying and Withering Wail are both fast speed spells. This is a slow speed spell. You can't use this when someone open attacks you to not die. You have to use it at slow speed. No, I don't see it. I don't like this card. I think this card is trash. I don't see why this card couldn't be fast. I think this card would be pretty good at fast speed. Like, pretty good. Not like busted or anything, but pretty decent. At slow speed, I think it's kind of just garbage. I think at slow speed, it's kind of just garbage. All right, and then we've got one final card. The card revealed today. They only revealed one card today, and it's this one, Scattered Pod. It's right here as well, which says, which is an Ionia card, 6 mana, 5/6 with a tune. So it's kind of a 5 mana 5/6, but you can't play it until round 6. And it says play, draw a slow, fast, or burst spell. Now, it's unclear, but I assume you get to choose what type of spell you draw. It's not like it randomly draws you one of these, because then I imagine it would just say draw a spell. But it says draw a slow, fast, or burst speed spell. So I assume you get to pick what type of spell you draw. And then it says, if you are enlightened, I have elusive. So once you reach round 10, once you get 10 mana crystals, it gets elusive, which, you know, whatever. That could matter sometimes, I guess. I don't like it. I don't like this card. I think I just don't see it. I've talked to a lot of people in my chat, and a lot of people say that it's not bad. You know, the fact that you get to draw a certain type of card is really good. The biggest implication I see from this card is that if you don't have a deep meditation in hand, like if you're going into round 10 as a Karma deck, or an Ezreal deck, you know, or as a Karma Ezreal deck, and you don't yet have a deep meditation, you can play this and you can choose burst, and then you will almost always get deep meditation because you're probably not running very many other burst speed spells. And that seems pretty alright. But at the same time, you would then not be able to play deep meditation for cheap next round because you paid 6 mana for this, which probably means you're not going to cast 2 spells this turn. I don't see it. I don't think the enlightened elusive thing matters very much. It might matter a bit. Actually, that could matter in a Karma deck, right? Because like you attack on round 10 and it gives you that extra, 5 damage that you need to get lethal. I don't see it. I don't see this card. It looks okay. I guess it looks fine. It's a 6 mana attune 5/6. It's a 5 mana 5/6. It's a big chunky blocker. It just looks okay. It just looks okay. I can't see myself putting this into a deck when I could put other things in the deck, but this is a card for an archetype that I hate. So like this is a card that is meant to support an archetype that I just have no experience with and also despise. So like maybe I'm super biased. It's possible that I'm super biased on this card. Maybe part of me thinks it's good and I hate it and I don't want it to be good. Just because I don't want that archetype to get more support. But I just don't quite see it. But yeah, so those are my initial impressions. Thank you guys for watching. In case you're new here, in case you haven't seen me before, my name is Game Boy Rob. Hello. I stream every weekday, Monday through Friday, starting at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Feel free to come hang out. We have an awesome time over there. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Tomorrow should be the last reveal, I think. Tomorrow should be the last reveal of new cards. It might be a champion. There's talk, there's whispers that we're maybe getting a 3rd champion, maybe that new Yordle champion that has been teased a little bit for League of Legends. We might be getting that, or we might be getting like 2 more cards. I don't know. I honestly have no idea what's going on tomorrow, but tomorrow should be the last day of reveals, and then whatever patch notes we're getting, which shouldn't be like huge. We shouldn't get like a huge patch notes or anything like that. Should be getting a very small patch notes, but those should be tomorrow as well. Then the day after tomorrow should be the patch. We'll actually get to play these cards. So yeah, look forward to that. I'll probably do a reaction video tomorrow, especially if there's a champion. I'll be doing a reaction video to the cards revealed tomorrow, as well as to the patch notes. So look forward to that. And with all that said, I'm going to get out of you guys' face. I'm going to stop rambling on. You guys can go about, do whatever you're going to do with your day, and just live your life. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.